Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crockett Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. Say, man, down here in Houston, Chief of Police had a summit today with other chiefs of police and law enforcement, and they're trying to come up with a plan to deal with the violence. Troy, are you going to be the chief that you promised, or are you going to be the chief that Turner wants? We're going to talk about it tonight. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in. And, without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So we definitely appreciate you taking out the time to hang out with us. And I'm going to start this off by saying I really don't have that much to talk about. I know I went to my nutritional visit for my weight loss surgery. I got 2 more. And I lost another 7 pounds. So they really impressed. I'm doing my thing. And I just want y'all to know tonight, Demetra say we can talk about this here. And I got my attitude. It's fucked up. I got my cigarettes. So I'm going to smoke. And I got me a 24-ounce Miller Lite. So get what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk that shit, ma. Because I'm on fire tonight. I'm going to talk that shit tonight. Donovan, what's happening?
Hey, welcome. It's midweek. It's hump day. We made it this far, you guys. Congratulations. We have made it this far. And 5-star, I know how you feel sometimes, because some days you just got to exhale, just like a lot of the women say. And, men exhale a little bit different than women. So, you got to have a beer and just, all this knowledge out here, and you still got these fools running around here defending white supremacy and all the foolishness that goes on within our community. But in the news today, if you guys don't know, Hillary Clinton, the far right-wing Democrat, warmonger, all that other good stuff, Hillary Clinton, who was Secretary of State under Obama, by the way, she endorsed the Democratic-backed candidate against progressive Nina Turner. And if you guys don't know who Nina Turner is, she was the woman that was the spokesperson and the senior advisor to Bernie Sanders in the last election, not Simone Sanders. And Nina Turner is fine as, that woman is fine. But anyway, that's just what I think about it. But it's showing you that the Democratic machine is gearing up to get their people out there as quickly as possible to give them name recognition. And also, in Congress today, John Cornyn, senator from Texas, was in the Senate floor, and he talked about how it's about time the nation gets to officially make Juneteenth a national holiday, because Texas has been done it statewide and all that other good stuff. And there's some other states that followed suit over the last 40 years. It takes 40 years to get something like that done, the symbolism of it. But see, what he's not talking about, though, it's like, okay, you got that done overwhelmingly, but you couldn't get the George Floyd bill passed. You couldn't get reparations passed. You couldn't get meaningful legislation for Black people passed, but you give us more symbolism. And that's what they were talking about today. And also your president, Joe Biden, I don't know, you guys. I can't tell the difference between him and Donald Trump, because he went at a reporter today that asked him a point blank question, and the Dixie racist ass came out of him toward that reporter. And I guess somebody told him, oh man, you fucked up. As he's boarding Air Force One to go wherever he's going to go, and I don't know if he's coming back to the United States or whatever, he apologized and said, hey, I was just kind of, she came at me a certain way, and so whatever. You're the president of the United States. If Donald Trump has degraded that office to a point to where you can't be presidential, what's the difference now between a Democrat and a Republican? I can't seem to tell the difference, because both don't want to give a shit, and both keep over masquerading as if they're the bastions of what is right in the world. So you guys take a look for yourself. Demetri, what do you got?
I don't have anything at all. I've been out of the loop today with the news and all of that. I have seen people still reeling. I don't know, reeling, that might be a little bit too dramatic, but, you know, still discussing the whole Juneteenth thing that they're trying to, I don't know if they're trying to give us Juneteenth. I don't know who it's even for, but I see a lot of
federal workers.
They made it a federal holiday today.
Yeah, federal workers.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is I don't know who exactly is it for. Is it for us? Is it for everybody? I mean, like, what is it supposed to do? But what I'm glad to see is that a lot of people are starting to wake up and not just take it like, oh, okay, we're getting the holiday. People are starting to say, wait a minute, we don't want that. We want the check. Just keep all of that and celebration stuff. Keep all of that, right? So that's a good thing to see people are waking up and not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. But anyway, if you guys could share this live so that everybody can get the information and join in on the conversation, we would greatly, greatly appreciate it. As you guys might have seen earlier, Gary went live and he was talking about the crime. Is it the crime rate or the murder rate?
It's the crime rate.
The crime rate in general has surpassed that of other major metropolitan cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and few others. It sounds like on average, the uptick in other cities have been about 5%, but it sounds like in Houston it's been 38%. Is that correct?
Yep.
So Gary's going to fill us in, and we're going to talk about it and see what can be done to curtail it. Gary?
Well, I think to curtail it, we just got to be honest. We got to call a spade a spade. I think for about the way that I met Chief Finner was he wasn't the chief at the time. He wasn't even the executive chief. I was at city council, and they were going off. The community was going off because a black man had been shot by the police, who didn't even stop the car when they shot him on Cullen Boulevard. He was out looking for his horse one night, and they shot him dead. And the people went down there, and they were going off, and the mayor said, if you don't calm down, I'm going to throw you up out of here. And I'm just sitting there, and I stand up and I say, and if you do, your police won't be able to come into our neighborhoods tonight. And Troy walked over to me, man, let me talk to you. This is how I met Chief Finner. This is how I met your Houston police chief at the moment. That's what his position is. I watched Chief Finner today have a summit with other law enforcement officials that run law enforcement agencies from around here. And they're talking about how to deal with the crime. Now, I can't pull it up for some reason, but I was going to pull up a 21-page comprehensive plan that we gave to a gun violence commission that Turner authorized when the children were killed at Santa Fe High School in that mass shooting. Over 200 plans were submitted. And out of 200 plans, our plan, Dr. Muhammad, Reginald Gordon, who was on the Isaiah Factor last night talking about crime, out of 200 plans, ours was the only one that was endorsed. Because it was just on paper, but we had been working the plan for years. That's why I can proudly say tonight that since I went into South Lawn where they murdered a kid live on video over a month ago, there has been no shootings since I went in there. So do I know what the hell I'm doing? Yeah, I know what the hell I'm doing. It hit me today like a ton of bricks because I'm watching women, they out late nights, they getting off work, some work that late shift. They stopping at gas stations, they getting robbed, they getting drugged, kids are being shot. And then when Reginald was on Isaiah last night, they went over some numbers. The guy from Crime Stopper said that crime has increased in LA since last year by only 6%. New York, 5%. Chicago, 5%. And then he said Houston, 38%. And I'm like, what the fuck? So hold on, because I need y'all to understand them. I told you before we started, I gave you the disclaimer. I was smoked by cigarettes. I'm going to drink my beer and I'm going to talk that shit, ma. 38%. 38%. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it hit me like a ton of bricks today. So I called Troy. Troy didn't answer, but he's very good at calling me back, and we talked. And I told Chief, I said, so when you going to call in the Marines? Y'all keep saying y'all need community help. When you going to call in the Marines? I said, I'm ready to start going to these motherfuckers' houses again. Going to their churches again. Well, man, you know, if you do that, whatever funding they would want to give you, they probably will withhold it. Well, I ain't missing nothing that they gave me any motherfucking way. You ain't gave me no money to do nothing that needs to be done. You've given it to your fake ass preachers, to your fake ass organizations, to your sorors and your frat brothers, and ain't none of these motherfuckers came up with a plan to deal with this violence. None of it. And then I'm watching. We can't go to a city council meeting. You still got the fucking building closed. We can't go to a school board meeting. You still got the fucking building closed. But y'all all over the fucking city at your little fancy parties again. All the usual suspects. All you nigga politicians that ain't worth a fuck. So tonight, Demetri ain't gonna be the bad lady. Donovan ain't gonna be the bad guy. I am. Because all you motherfuckers is trash, except for a couple. I will say Dr. Shabazz has put her boots on. She's in the community. She fighting as much as she can fight. Letitia Plummer, you shitted on her when she first got in office with her police reform measures, and you had to come back and use some of the shit that she gave you. But the rest of you motherfuckers, and I need this to be a diverse cursing out tonight. Fuck you white folks on city council. Fuck you Asians on city council. Fuck you Negroes on city council. And fuck you Latinos on city council that ain't doing a motherfucking thing about this crime. So if you mad at me, if you don't want to kick it with me, if you don't want to vote for me, kiss my black fat ass. Because I'm sick of this shit going on when you bastards got the resources to do what needs to be done. You gave the police department over $1 billion last year. You increased their budget. Bitch, we done told you, you don't need more cops. You need more resources. Go ride through these fucking black neighborhoods and you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see what I'm talking about. There's no economic opportunity in our communities, so therefore niggas sell dope to get an economic opportunity. And you think I'm gonna tell them to stop? No, motherfucker, feed your family, because that's what a man gonna do. Now, we got a problem. What the fuck we gonna do about these sorry-ass politicians that want to come through here pandering for our votes? And as far as Juneteenth, I get it. I love it. You know what? Fuck Juneteenth right now. Bitch, go get the bag, bitch. Go get our money, man. I don't give a fuck. I don't do holidays any motherfucking way. But you need to do something with this crime. You have passed Chicago. And a little bit later, we're going to go back in my time machine. And then you tell me if I got this shit wrong. Donovan.
Woo, you're on fire tonight because you're dropping truth bombs and you have not lied once in that soliloquy that you went in. You know, the thing is, I'm about the money. And how do you give $1 billion in additional resources to an organization and the crime rate goes up? It doesn't mathematically make sense, because if the military comes to people and we say, we need more troops, we need more money, right? We've got to show results to get that money. So either we need a big body count or we need to take over a certain part of territory or whatever the military is going to do. But you got to show results for the money that you received in the increase. Only in America do police officers get more money, and yet the crime gets worse. And, you know, and $1 billion and the thing is skyrocketing. You know, as we know, with the Black Lives Matter and all the protests that happened last year and the defund the police, I personally believe this is something that they're doing. These police departments all over the nation are doing this to say, see, you defund us, crime goes up, but nobody's defunded you guys yet. Nobody's done that yet.
In the middle of his press conference today,
Mm-hmm.
he made it obvious they've not defunded anything. So that means you got more money, you got more cops, and the crime rate is still going up. That means y'all know what the fuck y'all doing.
It's like you said, stop stealing the money. Stop stealing the money. Where's this money going? I mean, $1 billion to give to the police department for no results. How much good would that $1 billion have done within the community of Houston and in those neighborhoods that needed it? That's the question, that just blows my mind. So, but this also goes back to, and I'm not saying anything against Police Chief Troy FINNER, not like that. He just got in the office. I don't know. When people say he just got in office, what is the timeline to start holding these people accountable? But anyway, I'm not saying anything against it, but a lot of people say we got to occupy certain areas and certain offices, right? We've got police chiefs in a lot of major cities, and yet nothing changes. So what's the excuse for that? Dimitri?
So, Dimitri, before you say anything, I want you, can you ride with me in my time machine? And I'm going to go back 2 years. And I want you to tell me what I said 2 years ago. Let's try this.
Congratulations to all of y'all that won. I know some days people don't like the way that I speak when I come into these limited public forums. And HISD was one of those people, and I decided to do something about the fact that they banned me and said you can't come speak anymore. I sued them in federal court. Thanks to Judge Werlein and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, for all of those that sit in positions of power, you may not like the way that we speak. You may not like our delivery, but we have a constitutional right to be able to say whatever we want to say. And you sit there and take the criticism as well as the accolades. So HISD, I know they're watching. Get a seatbelt next Thursday night. Crime is doing what it normally does. District 10. Man last night decided he would pour bleach on his man and his children. You're real fond of your principal at Madison. Yesterday, one of your kids got beat up by a coach. Ended up at Memorial Herman. We don't want to talk about District D. 79-year-old woman executed. After they came to the house and shot it up, they came back and shot it at. I can come down here and act a fool, but I ain't doing that no more. What I'm going to ask you, especially if I still have the pictures of all the signs that were at the voting polls for the new members of City Council, do what you said you were going to do. 79 years old, man. We can't allow it to happen. We can't allow it to happen. I need you guys to really.
So I stopped right there. This is 2 years ago that I'm down there talking about the crime.
1, 2, 3.
Hold on a second. 2 years ago, I'm down there talking about the crime. 79-year-old woman executed in her house, but that was after they came and shot it up, and then they came back and executed. And now today, we're still talking about the crime. You see what I'm saying? We still talking about the crime rate going up. So here's a question. Remember when Mayor Turner ran against Tony Busby? Then Busby kept screaming about the crime, and the mayor kept saying it wasn't that bad. What the fuck going on? I think it's all by, I don't think it's all by design. You're trying to run the Negroes out of the community so that you can gentrify it, so that you can bring the white folk in there, so that you can turn it into the community that they want. So I think I'm more like Demetra tonight. And Pioneer said, Gary, don't get up before the people and start cussing. I ain't use one cuss word. I can use statistics, though. I think it's about solutions. And I think it is before that, a year and a half before that, Donovan and Demetra, me and Dr. Muhammad showed up. They act like they didn't have a 21-page comprehensive plan. I showed up with it in my hand and gave it to City Council. You have a bona fide plan that can stop violence. Been proven with no funding attached to it. But the funding that we require would be spent on the program, not on us. You don't want to do it. Why? Because you don't like me? Fuck you liking me. And like I say, Demetra's not going to be the bad lady. Donovan's not going to be the bad guy. The mayor of Houston, you full of shit. City council, you full of shit for not telling them to use this plan. But when the shit get too bad, that's when you want to call us and try to pimp us for us to go out there and work for free while you steady giving money to your bullshit pastor partners. So when will it stop? So what's the solution? I think I got some solutions to make you motherfuckers very uncomfortable. Because not only am I going to picket you in front of your fucking house, in front of your fucking church, I'm going to picket you in front of every cocksucker that gave you money. Every organization that gave you the money to put you in office, I'm going to be in front of their motherfucking buildings. You know why? Because it ain't about you using my plan. Find something that works. But right now, you people are not as smart as you portray. You're not as smart as you portray. Why the fuck would you keep giving funding to a pastor when I'm steady telling the pastor the motherfuckers you need to reach don't go to church? You ain't going in the community. You ain't doing shit. And the most disheartening thing, Miss Demetra and Donovan, is when I hear children being shot and murdered. And you got a plan to stop it and you full of shit. No, I'm not fit. Fuck y'all. Every last one of y'all. Because you ain't worth the fuck. Like Bernie Mac will say, you bitches ain't worth two flies smashed together.
Well, damn. Yeah, you said a lot. But I think what people need to realize is that it is city-sanctioned genocide. That's what that is. The city is sitting back and watching all of the genocide and not doing enough or anything about it, really, to not have the number. I mean, that's astronomical. That's almost 50% uptick. And so, to me, it sounds like it's just completely being ignored and it's being allowed to happen, which is why I call it city-sanctioned genocide. Okay, keep that term in your mind because that's exactly what's going on here. And then, you say the usual suspects, if you will, they're out there partying and they're celebrating and, getting ready for Juneteenth. Neely Fuller Jr. asked us to stop celebrating so much as Black people. He says, we got to ask ourselves, is it constructive or is it destructive to be doing that? Right? Also, these celebrations and stuff, these, the Juneteenth celebration, which I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, but now that we have it, whoever this we is symbolism, and it's to keep us medicated and distracted from what's really going on. Because I guarantee you at a lot of these Juneteenth celebrations, there will be some murders. Somebody's probably going to come through there shooting when people are having a good time. There's going to be some mayhem. that takes place. Also, then what happens when June 20th comes? What then? After we've done all the celebrating, popping all the fireworks, then how do we address what's going on? And so that's what they give us as Black people. They give us the bells and the whistles and, that foam at the top of the coffee, the sweet stuff at the top of the coffee. We get that stuff, but we don't get to the bottom of what's really going on because we're always in a celebratory mode. And we need to, as he also said, stop celebrating and start educating. We need to start educating our people. And then once the people are in the know of what there is to know, then we can get about the business of celebrating. But until then, we'll celebrate and then we'll be right back to business as usual, murders and high crime rates. But to your other point, you say all the key players are out there partying. What y'all partying for? What are y'all celebrating for? What's up with the glitz and the glam? What ball did y'all move for the people you serve to be out there celebrating? And why are you just celebrating? I'm serious. Like, what are you celebrating that we don't know about? Because there's nothing, absolutely nothing to celebrate when there's a 38% uptick in crime in not just the state of Texas, but a city. What are you celebrating? Like, cue us all in so we'll know. Like, I'm serious. Like, what are we celebrating for?
Well, I just want to say this. A lot of people don't know this. Not one congressional Black Congress member authored the Juneteenth bill. So if our own Black people didn't author the bill, where did this bill come from all of a sudden? Nobody was talking about this bill weeks ago, months ago, last year. Nobody was talking about this bill. Where did this bill come from? Why all of a sudden did this bill drop? And look at I want you guys to pay attention to the people that are going to come out from the Congressional Black Congress and going to be telling you what a great bill it is and how strong it is and how we do all this other stuff. And you're going to actually see a lot of the misleaders present themselves in front of you. Because nobody asked for this bill. It doesn't put any money in your pocket. If you're a federal worker, it'll put money in your pocket. That's good for you, But do we need another holiday? I don't think we do. We need people that are going to address the issues that are affecting us. We have 9 years to get this shit right. And if we do not get the shit done correctly within the next 9 years, it's a wrap for Black people in this country. It's a wrap. All the Congress members need to be pushed out. But at the end of the day, though, getting rid of them, it does send a message. I'll say that. However, then the people that are going to replace them, are they going to be there just to get paid as well? That's something we got to think about. But we have to look at the parallel, especially down there in Houston, $1 billion, and the numbers don't make sense. And again, Troy Finner, you're the police chief. What is the solution that he has? I mean, he's been on the street for years. So 5-star, what is the solution? I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't have a solution, but he should have a solution. He's been a police officer from ground up.
He said that a part of the solution is they have to work with the community. What the fuck I look like? What the fuck Dr. Muhammad look like? You don't want to work with us. One, y'all don't like me. I get it. You don't want to work with the good doctor because he's Nation of Islam. I get it. You see what I'm saying? But we the only motherfuckers got a plan. We the only Let me tell you something. Not only do we have a plan, we the only motherfuckers that have a plan that's been proven to work with no funding. But you've hit that spot where you have to provide the resources in the community. This is what Reggie spoke on last night on Isaiah's show. It's about the resources, the opportunity. You can't ask somebody to stop selling dope unless they can supplement the dope money. And black folk done woke up. I'm sorry. My Latino brothers done woke up too. Motherfuckers ain't trying to work for $7 no more. When they know you've been making a killing. The plan is there. What does the plan incorporate? Community involvement. Building hubs in the community. And what we call a hub is a spot, a center, or whatever you want to call it, where you can come in, you can learn how to fill out a job application. You can actually apply for jobs. If brothers need a TWIC card, that program will pay for them to get a TWIC card to go work at the plants or work offshore. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of these dudes will do it, but without no funding, we can't do shit. And the only thing we ask them to do is put the guns down. Now, they respect us. They respect us, and they will do it. But after a while, shit, when they don't see no movement, they just go back to what they know. But if the plan has been proven to work, why in the fuck are you pleading to the public like we need to do something about the crime? You fucking bitch. You got a plan and you don't want to use it. You keep thinking that one of your people gonna get lucky and pull the shit off. But you pour millions and millions and millions of dollars into these whack-ass nonprofits, these old shade-ass pastors who can't do shit. But you got the Marines. You got the Marines that's ready to go into battle, ready to walk into the war zones, deal with our people, and possibly turn a whole bunch of these people into some good people. Why in the fuck wouldn't you deal with me? 9 years. And I've had the ability to get over 500 kids to walk away from street gangs. Why in the fuck wouldn't you talk to me? But yet you allow children, women, everybody, black, white, whatever, to be murdered on a daily basis. And the weekends is the roughest part. Because we going 14, 15 deep on murders. And it's only going to get worse. But I've been down there. I told y'all this shit was going to get worse than Chicago. But you didn't want to listen. Turner, you don't give a fuck. Tell the real. Tell the real, Mayor Turner, why you don't give a fuck. You lame duck. You just trying to get your money. You just trying to get your money right now and get the fuck up out the building. You don't give a damn. But know one thing. Normally you'll be just like the rest of them once they get out the building. Don't show up in the black community because your motherfucking ghetto pass is revoked.
Well, you know, this also goes back to what I've been telling people about the 1994 crime bill. The police department is incentivized. They want these crime numbers to go up no matter how much money you give them. They're going to take the money. They want the crime numbers to go up so that they can arrest people. For every dollar that they spend at a local level, the federal government matches it and they give more money into the system. So they want people to be criminals. They want people to do murders, you know, and as you guys do know, 60% of all murders are not solved, especially in the black community. You guys do know that, right? So you got all this forensic evidence and they're buying all this equipment and stuff. How many of you guys were in the military? And if you were in the military, you guys remember at the end of the fiscal year, they gave you that P card and they told you to go run and buy printers, laptops, whatever you think the unit needs so that we don't get a lesser budget the next year. And I was in a flying squadron. So we went over the budget all the time. And every time we went over the budget, that was our budget the next year. So we kept going up and up and up and up. So it's a money game thing going on here, but it's also a life thing where they are incentivizing our people to kill each other and make it into a section to where they're going to make money even off of our deaths. So that's where we're at. And like I said, if you're in Houston, in these major cities, and it is hot, woo, watch those numbers. But again, I say this all the time. You've got black police chiefs in major cities all across this country, and yet nothing changes. Why?
Well, Ms. Demetri, let me ask you a question. Has it been proven through the stats that a lot of cities that are ran by Democratic governments seem to have this problem? regardless if they're white or black or whoever, if they're Democrats, we seem to have this problem. Could you expound on that, please?
I mean, yeah, it's just a fact. And, Trump tried to call out, and his name escapes my mind, of Baltimore. Tried to call him out.
Elijah Cummings.
Yeah, I had something else going through my head. And people got mad. How disrespectful, and how dare you? He's been around for a long time. But then the other part of that is, well, been around a long time doing what? His district is like it is Beirut, right? So it's like
I was there 2 years ago visiting a friend. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it because I had been there 9 years prior to that, and it was pretty decent. Oh my God! You go there, you got black. I mean, I thought I was in Liberia during the Civil War. The Civil War in Liberia. That's how bad it was.
So yeah, those it is they're run poorly, and a lot of times you look at the people who live there. No shade to the people who live there, but we become very apathetic when it comes to politics. We just don't give a damn ourselves. I mean, how is it that you can live in a neighborhood and they don't even provide you with the necessary things to survive in the neighborhood, good streets and all that kind of stuff, and getting rid of crime. But yeah, you don't see crime-ridden areas in Beverly Hills or any of the, not even the really affluent neighborhoods, but where, Republicans run the neighborhoods or whatever the case is. You don't see that. And so you got to look at the people they're serving. That is part of the problem as well. But in regards to, you saying Chief FINNER saying, oh, we need to police with the community, this, that, the other. He doesn't really have a plan, doesn't sound like it. But you guys do know that Black leaders were also involved in the eugenics program. They were also very instrumental in the eugenics program. Booker T. Washington was one of them. They even used Martin Luther King as in the eugenics program. Margaret Sanger, you guys have heard her name thrown around a lot. Really research it. She wrote Martin Luther King a letter, and at a dinner, his wife actually, Coretta Scott King, she actually received the letter, and he told her to tell them that I will consider this one of the greatest awards or accolades that I've ever received. Now, she 30 years before he even came to prominence said that we need a Black preacher to go into the neighborhood, somebody that Black people trust, and spread the word and the program of eugenics. And they use Martin Luther King. So the point that I'm making to saying all that, not to dirty Martin Luther King, is that our leaders are also, a lot of them, complicit in getting rid of Black people. You got a Black police chief. You got Sheila Jackson Lee and a whole host of other Black people. You got a Black mayor, and the crime rate is through the roof. Don't you think they would be a little bit more concerned about the welfare of their people? Or are we going to start to think that maybe those people are in on the fix? This is nothing new. This is why Neely Fuller Jr. told us to educate. Stop celebrating, because when we celebrate and we don't educate ourselves on what's going on, we continue in the madness. But Black leaders being complicit in Black blood being spilled is nothing new. It's just the same old thing, except for they come in, wolves in sheep clothing. Oh, well, we're going to see what's going on. We need to get with the community. They do all of that. And guess what we do? Yes, sir. Okay. Oh, we got a Black chief now. Oh, he going to make some things happen. Now, listen, I'm not trying to dirty his name either, but how many times have we heard community policing? We're going to get together. How many times have we heard that? And is it working? It's not working. And I think we just need to say they're not interested in it working. Because to your point, Gary, they don't have those problems in the other neighborhoods, do they? Because they make sure that their people can walk the street at night old ladies don't get stabbed and shot up for being in her neighborhood that she was probably in way before the crime wave took place. They make sure that people are getting what they voted for, but not in our neighborhoods. They give our Negro misleadership those little white envelopes to just build this here, do this there. Forget those people, because they ain't going to say nothing to you. Matter of fact, they're going to think you're doing a good thing, and they're going to continue to vote you in. So they're very complicit in the city-sanctioned genocide.
Well, you should have been a pastor, because you just spoke a word. You just spoke a word. I'm watching how they operate, and it's sickening to me. It's sickening to me, not because of how they operate, because of how we allow them to. We allow these people to do this to us. And you know, tonight you said, well, when we gonna stop killing each other? Well, if you wasn't living in a community where you had to get it how you live, you wouldn't have to. If there were as many nice restaurants and businesses in our community as they have in the white community, some of these people would be at work and not trying to kill folk. But you don't put that shit in our community. You don't put it in there until you run us out. Once you run us out, then you bring in all the bells and whistles. But until you run us out, you just basically fuck you on your own, get it how you live. So me, I'm not understanding it. Me and Ragnar, all of us agree. We allow this to happen in our community. And the first line of defense that we allow it to happen is through our vote. We keep voting in these motherfuckers. And they ain't worth a fuck. They ain't worth two dead flies smashed together. Because I've seen it. Houston didn't have a gang problem. Y'all gonna love this. After all the gang shootings in Southeast Houston and on the north side of Houston, we never had a gang problem until you had a gang-related shooting in River Oaks. One. What did mayor do? Soon as they had it, the next day he was at the school. Wanted to have a conference with the children. Well, I'm pretty sure you would go over there to Lamar because it's right next door to St. Thomas where Ted Cruz's daughter go to school. Right next door now. But you were there. And I started calling and emailing. You better get your black ass over to one of them black schools where this shit is going on. So a couple of days later, he showed up at Yates. You ain't followed through on none of the shit you promised them kids. You ain't followed through. So it took one shooting in River Oaks. But in a 3-year span, it was 27 murders gang-related in our community. Then all of a sudden, we had a gang problem. See, we don't never have a problem on nothing until it hits the affluent white community. Crack wasn't a problem until the white folks started smoking it. You see what I'm saying? Meth wasn't a problem until the white folks started fucking with it. But you just allow this shit to happen. And y'all think a motherfucker, won't you get the actual addresses of some of these politicians? Let's find out where the fuck you live. Because I guarantee you some of y'all ain't living in the hood where you say. You living in a Republican community where it's safe, where it's clean, it's not drug infested. You ain't got no motherfucking strip clubs on every fucking corner. None of that shit.
Across the street from the church.
That was shit. They might have well put it in the church. They selling pussy at the church anyway. Yeah, that's how I feel too, dog. Donovan?
Well, you know, Rontrell says, what type of resources can help 2 to 3 time felons? I'm gonna tell you a story here in my city. We have illegal Mexicans that come here. Because the mayor is Hispanic, the city manager is Asian, that was handpicked by the Hispanic city council, majority city council. Do you know what they did? They incentivized a program of my tax dollars going to illegals to help them find housing and to subsidize them, while they're in this country illegally. Now, what I'm saying by that is this, because that's a good question. If your mayor is black and the majority of your city council is black, and your numbers are black, and you've got the majority vote, you could do damn near anything you want to do. And nobody could do anything about it. They can challenge it in court. We've been challenging it in court, but guess what? These motherfuckers are still getting paid in the meantime. And that's what I'm saying. For some reason, as black people, we think when it comes to us, we can't do, we definitely can't do what white people do in the sense of that. But when we control a city and we control the resources of a city, we could do whatever we want to do. But for some reason, we don't think outside the box and say, hey, we got a lot of felons in our community. Let's do a felons rehabilitation program and subsidize them with taxpayer money. You can do that. You can legally do that. But we don't think like that because you know what? We like to shit on our own.
Now, what was the question Rontrell asked that got you started on that?
He said, what type of resources can help 2 to 3 time felons?
Inside of our program, Rontrell, a lot of these guys want to go work offshore, which will hire a 2 to 3 time felon, because if you're working in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, it's like you in prison anyway. The problem is they don't have the money to get the damn TWIC card. Our plan has funding inside of it just for that. Just for that. To help them get the TWIC card, go into the plants, go offshore. They can go do it. They don't have the money. I don't think some of y'all believe motherfuckers is broke, man.
But for what I understand too, with the Twix card, they need like an FBI clearance. But I want to say this. I see that Brother Tyrone Muhammad is on this feed. He said, hello, black people. So I want to say hello to him. But I think he would be the perfect person to speak about, you know, what felons can do, or people who, you know, are freshly released from prison and looking to re-enter the workforce, because he has a program that focuses on, I don't like to use the word, but ex-cons. So maybe if you're still watching, Brother Tyrone, you can come on the show one day. We'd love to have you on here. But yeah, Brother Tyrone is also a Gary there in Chicago, where they actually get into the trenches and do the work for our people. So that would be awesome if you are still watching. But, you know, Gary also said something that was very telling. He said when there was a shooting in the white neighborhood, he said the mayor went running
the very next day.
Well, that'll tell you who he worked for. He worked for them. They said, boy, if you don't get yourself over here and deal with this gang problem, because like you said, you know, and it shouldn't be shootings anywhere, but you call that a gang problem? You got one shooting in your neighborhood and God knows how long, but, you know, it's like the 4th of July in the neighborhood, but that goes to tell you who he works for. That's who is putting money in his pocket. That's who he's taking orders from. When is the last time he showed up in the neighborhood when it was a shooting? Did he show up when that veteran was murdered right there in his doorway?
Well, he didn't show up when he was running for re-election, and there were at least 5 shootings around his campaign office on the Scott Street corridor that's been labeled one of the most dangerous corridors in the country. 5 murders. You didn't show up to none of them, Mr. Mayor. And I went down there and complained about that. You come put your campaign office in our neighborhood, and bitch, they kill 5 people around this motherfucker. He don't show up. He show up for what he gonna show up for them white folk. He gonna show up for LGBTQ. He gonna show up for the Asians and say, fuck the black people.
But you said something else when I was watching your live earlier. You said something very, very important. When you said we're not going to allow y'all being these politicians, to come set up shop in our neighborhood when it's time to vote. Because that's when black people in the neighborhoods are useful, when we can help put you in office to do more of nothing. So I think start right there. Let them know. You don't want nothing to do with us any other time of the year or before election season. So why are you coming now? Like, and there's not even any shame in their game at all that they ignore the neighborhoods all, you know, before election time. But here come election season and want to shake everybody's hand, and they hallelujah and playing the tambourine all up in the church, you know, and kissing the old ladies and the babies. But when y'all put their asses, because I don't go for those type of people. When y'all put them back in the office, It's like a ghost. You don't see him no more. Start calling their asses Casper.
Well, I tell you what, I give you an example. At large, city councilwoman Sally Alcorn, white lady, was all up in the black neighborhood, all up at the voting polls. I was out there, I was working for my clients. But you was all up out there, wasn't you? Motherfucker ain't seen you since you won. So when you run for re-election, I promise you that bullhorn gonna be hot, and I'm gonna have about 100 extra motherfucking batteries because I'm gonna blast your stinking ass.
I would love to see it. Oh man.
The revolution shall be televised.
Yeah, you know, real quick, Sharon Compton says, I want to go independent, a whole new party. And that's what it's going to take this next election cycle, you guys. Seriously, to send a message to these Democrats, that's what it's going to take, because that's all they respect. All they respect is their power. So if we vote all these people out, or we overwhelmingly vote independent and just don't vote at all, I mean, does it make sense for us to vote for either of these parties that don't do nothing for us? So just withhold your vote until. Just withhold it. Why
Well,
not?
let me ask you all a question. Down here in Texas, you saw it all over the news. It made national news that the Democrats walked out because of SB 7 in the Texas State House. Am I correct? Why didn't the Democrats walk out when they were working on the gun bill that they complaining about? Because you cut the deal, bitch. Why you didn't walk out with the abortions? Why you didn't walk out with the transgender? Because you cut the deal. You cut the deals under the table. But you knew you couldn't cut that deal because everybody would be looking at your ass then. But it's so many bills that have passed that Abbott, the race theory bill. Why you didn't walk the fuck out? Because you cut the side deal. And now everybody want to jam Dutton up. You need to look at the other Negroes. At least Dutton had enough guts to stand there and say, well, basically, you know, I cut deals with these motherfuckers. I ain't walking out of here because I know they're going to fuck me on the next set of bills that I got to deal with. But y'all, you sold us out the whole legislative season. You sold us out. Why the fuck y'all didn't walk out then? Matter of fact, Supreme Court, why you bastards ain't walk out then? When they were about to put the Republicans on the Supreme Court, I'm just asking why you didn't walk out. Because you know you play both sides of the fucking aisle, but you just didn't know how to play SB 7. That's why you didn't walk out. That's why you walked out on SB 7, but you complaining about this gun bill now. Well, you don't need no motherfucking permit to walk around with no gun. But why you didn't walk out, bitch?
Fred Davis, how you doing? From YouTube. You say, why black folks in Houston hate one another so much? That is
I love everybody. I hate politicians.
That's a really good question. You know, I think really in general,
if you know the history of Houston, if people don't really know, I'm going to say this because it's a hood terminology. It's the land of the haters and jackals.
Well, I'm saying in general with black people is because the love has been taken away from us from a very long time ago. We were stripped of everything, including love and love for self, and just taught the hustle and the struggle, okay? So when you come up and hustle and struggle, ain't no time for love. Ain't no time to teach people to first love yourself and then love others. You're too busy in survival mode. Like that term, dog eat dog, that's real in a lot of our neighborhoods. So we have to recondition ourselves. And as Jonel Muhammad says all the time, you protect what you love, whatever that is. But since we don't know how to do that, we any and everything happens in our neighborhoods, including murdering each other, stealing from each other. So, I mean, we just have to really be taught how to do that again and really see what that looks like. Because a lot of people simply do not know. But, you know, again, this whole, the 38% uptick of crime in Houston, that is a political problem. That's a political problem. And it's our problem too. I'm not going to, you know, completely absolve us, and I say us, you know, in the communities of the blame. But like you said, you got millions of dollars that you put toward police force, and like, what is it doing?
Not millions, billions.
Okay, billions. What is it doing? What is it?
Nothing.
Who is it helping?
Because honestly, and I need you to think about this, D and Donovan, you don't need more cops. You have more. You can bring all the cops you want to bring. That ain't gonna stop motherfuckers. But the problem that I have is don't sit here and like you got to formulate a plan to deal with it. We've given you the plan. We have given it to you. But like I say, because you don't like me, Dr. Muhammad is a Muslim, Reginald Gordon is loud, you don't want to fuck with us. But can't nobody else go in the motherfucking neighborhood and calm them youngsters down. It's not a fear thing with us when we go in. It's a respect thing. One, they see us out here really fighting for them. You know, everybody's screaming, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. You know what I tell them youngsters? If you ain't got no peace, you ain't gonna get no justice when you get downtown. You ain't gonna get no justice when you get downtown. Let's just be honest. HPD, you don't give a fuck about black people selling dope in the hood. You just don't want the murders. You just don't want the murders. But stop, and this the thing that got me just, you have a plan. People have seen me bring the plan down there. When y'all act like y'all didn't have it. Gave it to every city council person. I even went to commissioner's court with it, to Rodney Ellis. You cocksuckers want this to happen. I would love to pull these people's portfolios to see how many real estate properties they own. Each politician, city council, as well as commissioner's court, to see how many real estate investments they have in these same communities that are imploding.
You know, you made a good point when you said that we don't need more cops. Do you guys realize the active duty military is less than 2 million people and getting lesser and lesser now that we're being pulled out of these wars and stuff? And why is that? Because of technology. Now, of course, technology is a high price. You got to pay, you know, more money. I don't even understand why the military budget through the 1980s up until even in the 90s went up when we were at peace. You know what I mean? But that's just how the money flows. But the military during those years reduced their numbers as they relied more and more on technology. Now, as a former pilot, there's a war going on in the Air Force in regards to these drones versus regular pilots. A guy sitting in a mobile unit flying a drone should not be getting flight pay because he's not actually flying the airplane and he's not being deployed. He's going to Chili's at the end of the day to do what he's got to do. But we got to ask ourselves these questions. Why do we need more police? You're giving them all this money, but yet they keep saying they need more police, but the crime rate keeps going up. It doesn't make sense. Their logic to why they need the money and all this other stuff and additional resources doesn't match the sheet of why they need it. It doesn't match.
So let me ask y'all a question. You got a brand new car. Imagine if you never changed the oil in it, because that's your responsibility. Am I correct? Imagine if you never wash it. Imagine if you never clean the inside. What's going to happen to that car? When it's your responsibility as city government, here's a question, and I just want y'all to answer. I want you to think about this. When the last time y'all seen the white community in their neighborhood picking up trash? California, Texas. When you seen people in them affluent communities walking down the street picking up trash?
Never.
Or cutting the grass on city-owned property?
Never. They have.
So when y'all get to thinking about us destroying our communities, the shit that they're supposed to take care of, if they never take care of it, it's going to become old and decrepit. It's going to be worn out. It's going to be what it is. You see what I'm saying? We don't bitch and complain 5 years ago. We don't have new schools for these black kids. But they were steadily taking care of the white schools. So what y'all have to understand, yes, it's part our responsibility. But they have a major responsibility to treat our communities the same way they treat other communities, because, bitch, you got our tax money. And if you don't want Monroe to say nothing, I done told y'all, I done told the school district, Demetri, I will be totally quiet. All you got to do is go in the back, hit the motherfucking safe, and give me my tax money back. Once I get my change, I ain't got a motherfucking thing to tell you. But as long as you taking my tax money, you goddamn right I want the grass cut at the school. You know how many times I done had to call to tell them people, say, man, y'all need to come out here and cut this motherfucking grass at the school. Talking about grass high as giraffe pussy. And this is where our kids go to school. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do, then it is what it is. You're looking for excuses, Sharon Compton. If you want to put that level of responsibility on all of us, then what is the responsibility of city government? We should be able, like Demetri be saying sometimes, I shouldn't have to worry about Demetri out pumping gas at 9 o'clock at night. She should be able to go out and pump her gas at 9 o'clock at night. She should be able to go to the mall and not have to get jacked or drug. But you know what? You jacking and dragging niggas over at Sharpstown. Is they doing that out in Fort Bend? Is you doing it at the White Mall? No, because you got more than enough security to secure them people. So don't tell me how it's supposed to be. It is what it is, man. And if y'all ain't got no problem with these people fucking over your tax money, then don't complain when the murder come to your fucking front door.
You know, I have a quick question for you, 5-star, or even Demetri. Now, you see all these casinos now in the South where, you know, the poor folks live and stuff like that. I have rarely heard of a major, operation of robbing a casino. And then in the casino area, it's always pristine and it's always nice, even though it's not far from a regular neighborhood. You know what I mean? So, I mean, why is that? I mean, you know, and everybody knows there's money right there. There's money right there. But yet, rarely is robberies ever happen in these areas that have casinos and just certain business acumen.
It's an investment, and people protect their investments. I guarantee you, try to snatch somebody purse in the casino, you ain't gonna make it past the second slot machine. They're gonna be on your ass. So they are very vigilant when it comes to their investment. That's why. But in our neighborhoods, not so much. The investment is not in the neighborhoods. The investment is outside of the neighborhoods in those politician bank accounts. That's where the investment is. But Gary, you know, you say they don't want to work with y'all. You, Dr. Muhammad, and I forget the other gentleman's name, but there's
Reggie.
There's a few reasons. One is because if it's successful, they don't want y'all to have the credit. They want to be able to say it was them that did it.
Exactly.
And the second one is it's an excuse to say, oh, they loud, he's a Muslim, he's that, not to work with y'all. So they tell that to people who are asleep. Well, you know, we would, but, you know, we don't like their demeanor. I'm kind of loud and, you know, one's a Muslim. And so they use that as an excuse not to work with you. And then ultimately, if it's successful, it foils the plan. It foils the plan of let them kill each other night and day so we could snatch that neighborhood back, clean it up so them folks can go in there and live a nice life. They don't want it to be successful. I think once we really just say they don't want it to be successful, then we'll understand what's really going on. There's other plans for that neighborhood than Black people stop killing each other. Y'all think eugenics has gone away? It hasn't gone anywhere. It just has refashioned itself. That's all it's done. Before, they were killing us. Now we killing us. And so they're like, well, hell, why stop? They're doing the job for us.
Why aren't there a bunch of murders in the affluent neighborhoods? Because you have a law enforcement presence, one, from a racial aspect that mirrors the neighborhood, the demographics of the neighborhood. Two, you have additional officers that are assigned to the neighborhood that mirror the demographics of the neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? When you put us in a position where you treat us like animals, you can't complain when we start acting like animals. And all of y'all up here talking about I wouldn't go to the hood and the hood. I'm from the motherfucking hood. I chose to move back to the hood from the suburbs. I'm not afraid to go into my community and help my people. I just don't feel I need to migrate there every day. I need to live there. I can live where I want, but I choose to go back and be amongst my people. So here's my question. Y'all got all this stuff going on with all these ideologies and these thoughts. Demetrius spoke on it. Donovan spoke on it. I say we got a plan, and it was endorsed by his gun violence commission. Why the fuck won't he do it? Demetrius just told you why. She hit the nail on the fucking head. You don't never want to make my legend bigger than what it is. You don't never want to make a brother from the Nation of Islam legend bigger than what it already is. You see what I'm saying? So Reginald Gordon doesn't get the credit that he rightfully deserves. Do y'all even know who Reginald Gordon is? Reginald Gordon created Scared Straight when the state of Texas gave him 200 years as a 15-year-old youngster. 200. And this man, from the day he got out, has been fighting and fighting and fighting to save children. And he do a great job of it. He do a great job. But what happened with Scared Straight? HBO stole it from him. Reginald Gordon, you go back and look at the first sets of tapes from Scared Straight, you will see Reggie in them videos. So when you got that type of team, that's a dream team. And we can go in the neighborhoods and make the youngsters put the guns down. Why wouldn't you work with us? Unless you realistically want this shit to happen. So for y'all out there saying, oh, it won't never change, I still challenge you. Ain't been a shooting since I went to South Lawn, Donovan. It ain't been no shooting in over a month. And they get on over there on a daily. It ain't because they scared of me. It's because they respect me. I don't look down on them. I don't talk down on them. I don't talk at them. I know what you're going through. And sometimes they just need to be uplifted. And that's why I'm telling y'all, instead of telling a youngster to pull his pants up, help him lift his mind up, and his pants gonna follow. You spend too much time talking down on Black people in the Black community than actually getting down, helping Black people in the Black community.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to look at it. But, when we talk about hood, I put it in the comments there. That's just short for neighborhood. We are the only group of people that put a negative connotation on where we live. I mean, I live in a hood too. Now, is it strife with crime and stuff? No, but it's a hood nonetheless. And that's what I'm saying. We ourselves, in a lot of situations, put a negative connotation on a lot of stuff that we do. And, and it shouldn't be that way. I mean, there's nothing wrong, like what the 5-star said. If we uplift his mind, the pants will follow. I agree with that sentiment as well. just because a person doesn't have, well, remember that song by Clarence Carter, Patches? Every time I hear that song, I just start crying because Patches is a thing, you know, but he was so raggedy that people called him Patches. But that didn't mean he was a bad person. He was this or that, you know, because we all don't come from the same means. But at the same time, like I was saying in some of the threads, talking to some of you guys, we as a community need to have a standard. We need to have a standard within our own community, not a standard of what's this and what's that or what the white man thinks. We need to have our own code of conduct and our own standards like we used to have back in the day. And then if we can do that, you know, I think things definitely will get a lot better. I mean, Demetri, you won't believe this. I was going past a nail shop coming from Staples, and there was a melee going outside, and the sister flagged me down because the Asians, they were arguing about the money or something, and she didn't pay or something, right? And I get out and I was like, well, you know, what's going on? What's going on? I'm trying to defend the sister, right? And she goes, oh, well, you know, she's like, oh, they're trying to make me pay more, and they charge me more than this. The first thing I said to that sister was, what the fuck are you doing in the nail shop to begin with? I'm not going to catch a case, you know, for you, but this is the type of stuff where I'm saying we got to have standards of our own so that, you know, we have a code of conduct so that we could move forward and do great things as well. So, yeah.
But who gets to teach us that standard? Is it the little fat dude with the regular black t-shirt on? Or is it the slick ass politician or the black leader that don't give a fuck about us? And we supposed to believe what this motherfucker saying when we know for a fact that he fucking us every day? Who supposed to teach it to us?
And Tanaya, thank you. I saw that. Thank you so much. I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, it really is a joint effort. It is a joint effort. So Chief FINNER has the right idea, but I just don't think they're really interested. It's just lip service at this point. Well, we're going to get out and, you know, and get with the community and do what? And what are you going to do? You know, but the other part of that is there are things that we can be doing, you know. And Gary, I guess it costs money, you know, to implement you guys' program, but is there something y'all can do? You know, I know you guys are already out there too, but like, so what do you guys need to get started?
Our plan, if funded properly, runs about $800,000 a year. Our plan runs about $800,000 a year. Now, a portion of this plan was just used last week in Dallas, Texas. Their city council funded $800,000 to do basically almost the same thing. They don't have everything that we have, but it's about $800,000. And the biggest slap in the face, Demetri, look at me, sister. When they figured out the numbers, the next day, you know what Turner did? He wouldn't invest. And this was after the Gun Violence Commission endorsed the plan. The bitch spent $3 million to put art in the airport. Fuck human life. Motherfuckers need to look at fly pictures when they trying to catch a plane. That was the biggest slap in the face for us. And at that point, it was like, you know what, man, we done. We done.
So the city won't give you the money, and I'm sorry. And you said, so is there money coming in for the project at all? No. So, I mean, I don't know any grant writers or anybody like that, but you know, surely there can be a way for grants or something. Because I would think that, especially now, people knowing, I don't know if they know that the crime rate has upticked to that degree. There's got to be people out there willing to, you know, throw some money at helping you guys.
Here's the issue and I agree with you. We could do grants. We could get people to throw money, but they have money sitting there just for that purpose.
They ain't gonna give it to you. They
exactly.
make that very clear. They not gonna give it to you. Like you said, art in the airport that nobody has seen. I haven't noticed hardly any art. I'm gonna be there on Friday. I haven't noticed any art that would make me say, "Now this is worth missing my flight to see." So art in the airport is worth more than Black life in the neighborhood.
Well, Dimitri, remember here in San Bernardino? Remember the chiseled concrete on the highways right by San Bernardino? San Bernardino filed for bankruptcy. They have nothing to give their people, but they had enough money to put chiseled art concrete on the side of the highways.
And that ought to tell people there, we beautifying, because they have the beautification projects. We've seen those in certain neighborhoods. When I lived in California, I lived right around the corner from one of the most notorious neighborhoods in probably, California. I walk to the store all the time and I'm like, wow. But then they have these beautification projects coming. We're gonna beautify the neighborhood. It's like, what you doing that for? Who are you doing it for?
Beautification leads to gentrification. Like, people don't understand in South Park, Texas. South Park, you from Houston. Y'all know what this shit is named on paper now? Medical Center South.
Oh, that's very cute and attractive.
Oh, they finna show y'all. This is why they turned Worthing High School into an early college. They finna kick them kids up out of there and bust in who the fuck they want. And then guess what they gonna do to y'all, especially y'all on subsidized housing? You need to move your ass out here to Spring, Texas. They create a new ghetto for you. It looks a little bit better, but it's ghetto. It's all a fucking game. But regardless of what it is, I know one thing about these youngsters, and they be laughing when I say it. When they figure out it ain't nobody to rob in the hood, they coming to a neighborhood near you. You want to keep bringing them kids into your schools and all that bullshit? Don't be like, I went to a meeting in Bel Air one night because they was like, they were going to build this 3,700 seat school. Them people in there, and it was only 4 of us in a room full of all white people, about 500. We don't want that. Our community is small. We didn't ask you for that big old school. Matter of fact, how much does it cost per kid to educate them per year? We're willing to pay you that so that they can go back to their schools in their neighborhoods. One lady say, we don't want no parking garage. They already having sex on my front lawn. So when you invite the hood to the suburbs, yeah, if they ain't got no ride home and they miss the bus, they still in your fucking car. They gonna fuck your little affluent daughter. They gonna give her the dick. Don't be mad. Just know what you're getting into.
Well, it sounds like y'all need to go over there with a church bucket and knock on their doors and say, hey, if you don't want that in your neighborhoods, then chip in so we can solve the problem in our neighborhood.
But you know what? We appreciated their honesty. It's not that they didn't want black kids at their schools. See, they come steal our black kids and bring them out to Bel Air. All right, but what Bel Air community is saying, based on the number of kids that we have, we only need a 2,500 seat school. We don't need a 3,700 seat school. So we're willing to pay you for each child that you send back to their home school. You know what the school district told them? Fuck you. And built that bitch anyway.
Yeah, but I think you already realize that they're not willing to give you the money. They're just not. They don't want the problem solved. And so, there's money somewhere to help implement these programs, start a campaign or something. I don't know. I mean, fundraising is not my thing.
You can always tell when they gentrify in the neighborhood, not because of the houses. And I tell y'all, you got to get outside your box. Donovan, you can tell when they about to gentrify the neighborhoods because the first thing you start seeing is banks. They start building banks in your neighborhood because they know white folk, they bank a lot. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. You got motherfuckers around here fighting to keep a strip club off of OST. Bitch, when you own a strip club on that Alameda, Mr. Politician, you fucking say, man, don't make me pop the other one.
Yeah, well, I guess we really could be here all night talking about this, but yeah, I think that's the solution, Gary, is just try to find somebody who's got a lot of money and say, hey, I want to help you out. I mean, I'm sure.
Oprah. Let's call Oprah. She's a billionaire. Let's call Tyler Perry.
Calling Madea. They done brought Madea back. I'm thinking about calling Madea. But they got their own issues where they are. You see what I'm saying? And you can't expect for them people to continuously come here to Houston and pull a 50 cent out their ass. You know what I'm saying? You can't. We here. We got people here that can do this. These niggas so bought and paid for. Y'all still got the price tags on y'all motherfucking heads. Y'all so bought and paid for around here.
Absolutely. So we going to final thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, I'll start. You know, I just basically say, be careful who you vote for. Be very careful who you vote for. Because like I said, those people in those other the good side of town and the good neighborhoods, they getting what they voting for. And I guess we getting what we voting for too. Because we're not holding them accountable. And like I said, they don't even come and lie to us anymore. They just, hey, give us your vote. Pastor so-and-so, me and him go way back. And, you know, he get up in there and say, yes, I've known him for a long time. And, you know, I can't really tell you.
March with King.
I can't really tell you who to vote for. But, you know, he's a good guy in my book. And, you know, people listen to the pastor. So be careful who you vote for. That's all I can really say.
My final thoughts. Yeah, my final thoughts is this. This Saturday, you guys, we have a show that's going to be breaking out. It's called Politricks. I want you guys to check it out. Jerry's going to talk a little bit more about it. But I just want to tell you guys this. They are not even hiding it anymore. They're just throwing it in our faces and saying, what are you going to do about it? But we are the one people. Let another black person get in our face and take our last piece of chicken. We ready to fight. But these politicians are like, I'm here, I'm stealing your money, I ain't doing shit for you. And we don't do a damn thing about it. So they're out here killing black people, you guys. Keep your head on swivel. I don't trust none of these mugs. Like I said, they're killing us. And guess what? They're getting away with it too.
Like Donovan said, final thoughts. Yeah, we got a brand new show starting Saturday at 7 o'clock called Dirty Politricks. And all you Negro, white folk, Asians, LGBTQ, LMNOP, ass politicians with that slick shit, we finna air your ass out. Black girl magic. You better get a seatbelt. Because when I finish with you, you gonna understand. I am finna drag your favorite politicians and won't even break a sweat when I do it. Saturday, 7 o'clock, Dirty Politricks. Former FBI, Chuck Mahler. Oh, we got the goods. And get what? You know how it is with them FBI people. They don't even speak on it unless they got your stinking ass. Say, man, it's a reason why we the best in the business. Every night, 7 o'clock. Facebook, YouTube is called A War Zone. Tell your friends about it. I want to thank my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. I talked to the man today, the money man. He coming tomorrow. Had to give me some stock options today. Y'all fucking around playing. I'm going to get all my money. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk money. And don't take it personal. But all you politicians, Saturday night, we're going to bust your fucking bubble. Until tomorrow night, we'll holler at you.